Two drunk assholes talking about whatever comes to mind. We present Filler with Jack Fike and Rob Harper. Filler is Jack and my insane rambling.
In this filler, we go through from Star Trek to Star Wars, and we find out where Lucas and Abrams touched Jack.
Please do note that we are extremely drunk during these recordings, so if we do sound like unintelligent fools, just forgive us.
I would like to see the Flash return to the Flash of the cartoon series, the Unlimited,
yeah.
And the way he was meant to be, rather than, okay, well, I'm dark, gritty Flash.
Well, that's what the movie's going to be.
It's not going to be...
I still can't believe they have a super popular TV show, and they're not going to use that same character in the movie. It makes no sense. Why would you tie it all together? Do you think that if they do if Coulson's in the Avengers, it's not going to be Greg Clark? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, that's so weird.
That's nice, but, we need a... Greg...
It's Anthony Hopkins playing Greg Clark's character, Agent Coulson.
Why would Odin be Coulson?
That's true, Odin was already in it.
The way you play
maybe
the character
that's why how he survived. He's actually Odin.
Oh, maybe. Hey, Greg, you got this thing, you're kind of not dark and gritty enough for that character. No, I was the character.
I invented this character.
There was no character. My inflections are... No. Yeah. I'm sorry, we have someone else in
Daniel
mind.
Day-Lewis says.
Also, Daniel Craig walks in.
Daniel Craig as Agent Coulson. Yeah, that's kind of what they're doing. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why would you recast? Like they have multiple Scarlet Witches and, well, not Scarlet Witch so much, but Quicksilvers in. But that's only because of rights issues.
Yeah.
If Marvel had their druthers, there wouldn't be two different Quicksilvers. They'd be all the same guy.
And it's not that DC's head office goes, you know what? We would sully what's working with the TV shows if we tried. Like, we're so inept that if we took those properties, we would ruin them. So let's preserve some quality. They're not saying that. There must be some divide where the
it's
TV
different
people,
divisions. Yeah.
that they say, no.
I bet the movie people don't even know there's a TV show.
We followed your rules.
Like,
Batman's not going to be...
We're going to do something totally new, a Flash. We haven't seen Flash since... You do realize there's a Flash TV show. It's like the #1 show on CW. What? No. Oh, no. We would have heard about that.
Does he punch a hobo's heart out? Because if I was writing a movie with him in it, he would punch a hobo's heart out. No, he doesn't. He's
actually really uplifting and
he's
very
a nice
positive guy.
Yeah. And then what? Like he's a drinker, isn't he? He's a drinker. No.
He sits around and broods in a dark room, doesn't he? Yeah, that's cool. No, we're not going to go back to talking about how bad DC is. So let's move away from that.
So there's got to be the TV people went, listen, Batman's not coming on Arrow because you said we can't use him.
Yeah, because of Gotham, really.
So Grant Gustin isn't going to be.
But that's a rights issue again. Batman's not on Arrow, not because it's because he's on Gotham. If there wasn't a Gotham TV show, there was a chance he could be on it. But it's because they're two different. Gotham is NBC, CW is, so they can't mix and match characters. It's just like, so that's why it's not.
And someone has decided, someone arbitrarily has said, okay, we're giving you the rights to, we're giving you the rights to.
It wasn't even like DC or Marvel who went bankrupt and had to sell off their rights. DC chose this. They chose to screw up their continuity, once again, even television continuity.
And I'm telling you right now, you don't watch Gotham, I do. If there's retconning to be done, when they redo the Marvel, the new 52, if they don't adopt the Penguin from Gotham, his backstory,
that's everybody says he's amazing. Yeah.
His just inflections, his motivations, his backstory. If they don't adopt that, then they've dropped a huge ball. Like they've missed a huge opportunity because he does
he's a stand-up character for that, for sure.
Job.
Yeah,
and the Riddler. I don't want to ruin too much about that either.
I'm never going to watch his show. It's gotten to the point where I'm never going to watch his show.
You're going to watch the show.
I don't think so.
You're going to watch the show.
There's too much stuff. We were talking about this last night. There's too much good content nowadays. You can't watch everything. When we were kids, if there was even one show that had like sci-fi in it, we were all about it. Now it's just like there's just too much. And on multiple platforms. Like I was saying how good The Man in the High Castle is, but you're like, well, I just can't, until it's a show. I can't afford just to watch something for fun because there's too much shit.
Yeah, I chose not to hop on Constantine.
Yeah,
and it proved to be a
good thing about
choice. Cause
yeah, but it's like 13 episodes that are, you're not going to get the full story, but at least you had fun with those 13 episodes. I've only seen the first 3, and they've been fun so far.
Hopefully they can wrap it up in such a way that it's a contained story in
some
way.
So far, the storyline is, it's just, the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and it's like, well, you don't have to wrap that up. The world's going to hell in a handbasket, so what? And you could just, like, that's the kind of show that you could just leave it, and it'd be fine. It's not like other shows where you have to, there's like a mystery. It's not like Lost or something where you try to explain the mystery at the end. There's no mystery to Constantine. It's just, he's fighting demons.
Well, the only mystery to Lost was where it was they realized that they were making shit up and that they could never rein it in and just kept cashing those paychecks.
Well, it's when those people kept saying, hey, you have an idea for the end of this, right? And they kept lying and saying, yeah, we have this all plotted out. And then they were like, oh crap, we actually do have to put an end to this.
Someday, eventually. And the worst part is, those people are still working in Hollywood. Those people still have jobs.
Well, that's the person in charge of, wasn't it J.J. Abrams?
Yeah.
But he always said that, the thing with J.J. Abrams said that everything he's always done is he's tried to do Star Wars in it, so.
And it wasn't, everyone has pretty much said that it wasn't him. He was at the helm, but
it's the writers that were the issue.
He brought on some real pieces of shit to punch it up, and those idea guys were completely completely unable
Lindelofed
to... Lindelofed it. And Abrams, like, in Star Wars, if I start seeing some telltale signs of, like, Lostisms in it...
I can't see that.
Because I didn't like the Star Trek reboots. The first
Star Trek reboots the characters were great, but the actual stories were stupid. But that's Orci and Kurtzman.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have anything to do with Star Wars, which is good.
The first Star Trek I liked, and it showed possibilities. It was the alternate universe. Like, hey, if you like the originals, you still have them.
Yeah.
This isn't a sequel. It isn't a prequel. It isn't a
reboot.
It's not a reboot. Yeah. This is a
divergent timeline.
Something happened. Boom. Now you can follow.
That was really smart, and so they didn't piss the fans off.
And it gave.
It's the second one didn't live up on that promise of, hey, they kind of did the same thing. Once again, the characters were fine, but...
They had an idea, and then they were just like, okay, you know what?
That was a huge hit. We have to make a sequel.
And, sure, make a sequel, but then don't go, hey, you know how we did this thing and it made it really popular? Let's take that, bend it over, go in dry, and just rape that. Just rape it and make it as insulting as possible.
Like, explore how the world's changed, not just do Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. Don't take 2 or 3 old shows, movies ideas, and then just smush them in and go, hey, fans, remember when?
Because it doesn't make sense. You diverged the timeline, you didn't change, like, it wouldn't have changed all this. Now it's just a totally different thing. It went on from being, hey, this is plausible, to being, hey, this is not plausible, because this is not how it happened.
Written poorly, executed poorly.
They had so much to explore. They could have explored so much more fun after the first one.
After the first one, for the second one, they meet the Klingons. What if something else happened?
Yeah.
What if all of a sudden
explore how the universe changes because there's no more Vulcan? Explore all this stuff, but they never did. They never played with it. All they did is fan serviced it.
The Klingons could have
and they didn't even fan service it because it was not even.
Klingons could have been showed up badass. You're thinking, oh, this is gonna be a fight. You know, it was easy to do it the way they did it.
Yeah.
What would have been more entertaining is if the Klingon opened his helmet, hey, and you're thinking, oh my god, this is going to be what happened in the movie, a gratuitous gun battle.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, where the fuck are the Klingons? Or where the fuck are the Vulcans? What happened? Oh, well, they were destroyed. By what?
Yeah.
Well, we got to team up. What?
Yeah. Change it. Explain. Be smart.
The world is your oyster.
The sequel wasn't smart. It was just, hey, let's take Wrath of Khan and redo it with Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Which was fine, but don't make him Khan.
He was hot at the time, so you shoved him in there.
He's still hot.
Wrath of Khan was the classic, so shove that in there.
They should have just made him, if it was not Khan, the whole time you're thinking, it's Khan, it's not Khan. That would have been a fine movie. It's just they really screwed up by making it Khan.
Yeah.
Because the movie's fine. It was just...
But Khan was on that checklist.
They should have played with the...
Had tribbles on it, had...
that's the thing, yeah.
The fans like this, the fans like this.
And they cured death, which any movie that cures death annoys me.
Yeah, well, at some point they have to go, you got a big checklist, you've crammed all this stuff in there, how are you going to fix it? And the people are on the writing table go,
Tribble blood cures death.
We'll use the teleporter, the buffering system will have it. If we have some DNA, then we'll just bring them back. Oh, that was done. Oh.
Well, at least that one, it cured death, but you'd have to there's some things where you have to have their stuff in the buffer, and this was just like, yeah, okay, anybody who gets injected with Tribble blood, you're saved.
Done.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Terrible.
And it's not like you'll ever run out of Tribbles. It's not like there's going to be a shortage of Tribbles.
So it's what could have been a masterful beginning of a new franchise that is still an old franchise. You could have had 5 movies.
And they also the whole point of the original Star Trek was it was really smart. Like they explored themes, and they it was like not action, adventure, sci-fi, which is why a lot of people don't like it, because it's not Star Wars. It wasn't exciting. It was more like thinky, and this was not thinky at all.
No,
and they could have made it fun, but thinky too.
But instead, we got, it's Klingons, bad guys, shoot, shoot, shoot,
Yeah.
pew, 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 pew.
And then it's Khan.
It's Khan.
Obviously.
Oh my god. He's gonna, let's fly through space, and then action, pew, 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 pew.
And let's have Spock fight Khan on a floating thing.
Yeah, let's have. And hey, remember when Spock was in that tube and he said the way of the many outweigh the... Well, what if
flip it around?
We just turn it around. Well, the characters don't work that way. It worked only because
Spock was so calm.
Yeah.
Kirk would have been like drop kicking the door.
Yeah, he had a monkey flip the door off.
Yeah, like, he wouldn't have gone gently into that night.
What's Kirk doing in there? Oh, he's fashioning a makeshift cannon out of the interior parts. He's going to blow the front of the door off.
Yeah, but that'll flip the whole place. Yeah, he'll deal with the consequences later.
Yeah, but because it's Kirk and he's always just been able to fix it. Oh
Spock
my god!
Just he accepted his fate.
He's baiting everyone in radiation. Where's he going? Heading towards some tribbles with a syringe. I don't understand. Hey, we're all saved. No nuclear radiation for any of us. Come on, look at this. I'm
you
Kirk.
get a cure. And you get a cure. And you get a cure.
And Spock's just standing there like, I probably would have just gracefully accepted my fate and died. That's why you are you and me's me.
Yeah, the characters in it are great. It's just the writing is terrible.
Yeah, again, and that's why there won't be a Star Trek 3 because
they are. They're writing it now, and Simon Pegg's actually writing it.
He's writing it. But I will be.
They'll do it. They know that they
surprised.
They'll do it one more time. If it fails one more time, it'll you're allowed to fail once. You're not allowed to fail twice.
That was an X-Men 3 moment, and
they came back with X-Men 4.
There's a bad taste in the mouth of the populace, and I think you know what? And the problem is,
you can pull up from the dive once in a while.
Yeah,
once in a while,
but you can't do it twice.
If you get a choice, like if you get a chance. A lot of movies don't give you a chance.
And I know people who went and saw that movie who were Star Trek fans, and I am not a Star Trek guy for the most part.
Yeah, I wasn't until I watched them all. I watched the original series.
But I know people who went and came back and were like, ugh. That was insulting to people who are casual fans, insulting to people who are big fans, insulting to people who are
I think when I saw it, I hadn't seen the whole original series, and then I went back and watched the whole original series, and after that, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't feel like Star Trek. It feels like Star Wars. That's what it feels like.
It was insulting to the movie-going public who were going in blind.
Actually, you know what it really felt like? Galaxy Quest.
Ooh,
that movie felt like a non-funny Galaxy Quest. Where everything's shiny. Like the whole point of Galaxy Quest was it was a joke on Star Trek, where it was like everything was super shiny, and it was everybody, there was over-sexualization of the. Why do I always my top have to be open? And that's what this movie felt like. It was almost like the parody Galaxy Quest. This was the movie that was what they were parodying. Like it was crazy.
Someone did a Star Trek parody. A fanfic quality parody, and had a big budget. That is a scathing but very accurate.
It just occurred to me. I'm like, what does it look like? Yeah, it looks like Galaxy Quest, and Galaxy Quest made like hyper everything that was in Star Trek. It made it hyper like overemphasized the bad things, and it made it seem like they're really that's what parody does, right?
Yes, yeah.
But what they overemphasized, Star Trek: The New Reboot did.
Right, it took that on as like,
Oh, that's how you do it. Yeah,
that's how you do it.
It's funny.
We're going to embrace what Star Trek is at its core. It's like, no, you're not.
You just embraced what people made fun of Star Trek at its core.
All the small missteps that Star Trek did, any tiny missteps or things that now look outdated or now are
or not even
been done so often that it looks like it's that they were the copycats. You've taken that and it just dived right into it, into the vat, and swam around.
Someone who's not a fan of Star Trek looks at Star Trek and sees, whereas all the fans of Star Trek don't see any of that. The stuff they like about it is the intelligence, the peaceful resolution of most things. Like, I think in the original series, hardly ever did it come down to fighting. Like, and you never saw the fights, even when it did come down to fighting. Once in a blue moon, you'd have a little bit of a laser battle in space, but hardly ever. There's a lot of monkey flipping and things, but...
Yeah, well, there was action, but it wasn't the...
But most of the time there was a lot of, like, Kirk, you shouldn't have resorted to violence. We were just trying to be peaceful.
You mean there was a multiple viewpoints on certain social commentaries and certain events, and you could see how one would work, how it wouldn't, and a discussion between those two people as to how, and almost using science fiction in a way to teach and as a moral, social moral teaching.
As a way to show what the current view is in another way so that people can digest it, kind of.
And put it in such a way that it's not, we're talking about race relations. Because
we'll have one guy black, white, and the other one white, black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's bullshit, and I think you're making that up.
If Gene Roddenberry was alive and saw this new Star Trek, he'd be like, this flies in the face of what I was trying to do with Star Trek. He wrote Andromeda to be this. This is more Andromeda, which was more high action, more fun, whereas Star Trek was the intelligent one. Andromeda was meant to be the action one.
He wasn't a one-trick pony.
No.
He wanted...
But he knew what he wanted with Star Trek.
A specific dream for
and that's why the show only lasted 3 seasons, because they kept saying, hey, put more action in, hey, make it more like Lost in Space. And he's like, no, I want to talk about things, you know?
And I've got this other project here, and that's more what you're looking for, but this
And then they were like, no, we want
dream.
Star Trek. And they never bought it, and then eventually Andromeda got made years later with Conan, with Hercules, which was great.
Yep.
It was a great
Kevin
show.
Sorbo? Yeah.
Yep. Where happened to him?
I don't know.
But anyways, watch Andromeda, watch the original Star Trek. Those are like nice bookends to what the difference between social commentary sci-fi and action sci-fi are.
Which neither one of them is better than the other.
No, it's just what you like.
And
what you feel like.
And both of them have a little bit of both. It's not a stark black and white thing. But that new Star Trek movie was balls. And
once again, it was great characters, great acting. Just the story was terrible.
I didn't even go. You went. Yeah. My girlfriend went, and a buddy of ours went.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm not.
And afterwards, we're like, that was fun. That was terrible, but that was fun. And like that's what your reaction was. And it was fun. It was just terrible. The original Star Trek, I bought it on Blu-ray. I watched it multiple times.
I watched it at your house.
I really enjoyed it.
You said I had to watch it. You sat me down and said, it's not...
Yeah, this is not what you think it is. It's really smart how they did it. And all that goodwill they made with that first movie, they threw out the window with the second movie. And
just laziness.
By laziness, but lazy writing, yeah.
And those people cashed giant paychecks.
And they're
still working.
But they work a lot less now. I think they got some tarnish on their reputation after that. A lot of people realized, oh wait, they aren't good writers. They're
failing at everything they're in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope if there's any justice in the world because you could rewrite.
Well, wasn't the one writer supposed to be the director of the next movie, and all of a sudden he's not? He got kicked out of that after the results came in.
I don't know if that's...
Yeah. So we'll see. But Star Trek. They could pull it on a nosedive with an intelligent next... Are they doing the opposite? Every other one is good? Is that what they're trying to do? Did they do it purposely bad so they could keep up the
Star Trek the Star Trek curse?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. If they bring back Shatner in this next one...
Well, that'd be... They're talking about it, and that'd be terrible.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I was making a joke.
No, they were talking... I thought you were serious. Yeah, they're talking about it. They were going to.
Okay, well, Shatner fighting Ben Kingsley, that would be amazing.
But it's like, A, they've already done it, and B, the other ones had Spock back. Why would you bring Kirk back, too? Why'd you bring them all back? Resurrect Jimmy Doohan, bring him back.
And since they can cure death now.
Yeah.
No, it was terrible. And it didn't work, and it was.
Like you said it perfectly. It's lazy writing. It was just like, hey, what can we do for a sequel? Well, we'll take Wrath of Khan and rewrite it. Okay. Yeah, we'll throw tribbles in.
We've got a list of things that have to be in the movie. You guys just push it together and make something out of it.
And the executives, obviously not Star Trek fans, were just like, yeah, the kids will love it.
In that, when the Enterprise is plummeting out of control and people were just flying around inside the ship, and I got sick of hearing women dying.
Oh, just the screams in the background.
The screams as people just ragdoll.
Random screams.
And people off gantries, and
the
whole ship was like a sponge candy. Like there's just vast openings with little narrow gantries.
People just flying through things.
And the first time, and I don't know, it's part of my male psyche. Like I heard a woman scream, like a woman just died. Like can't someone protect these people? Like, and then hour 2 of the same scene, and
it could only have been worse if there was like puppies plummeting there.
Yeah, like at some point, and then they go to the very next scene, and the medical lab is still pristine. There's still like stuff sitting on the desks, on the tables, and they're
like
doing
flasks and stuff.
Yeah, these glass beakers and stuff, and they're doing like science experiments. Like, oh, was there something going on?
Yeah,
we watched literally people hurled
out
into these open spaces of the interior of the vessel, like just.
Yeah.
And there's a guy there with like a petri dish. Yeah. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake!
And it was
Does no one even like
watch this?
Read the script, or there's no. There are people whose job is to make sure continuity goes through. Yeah. That person, I think, probably put a revolver in their mouth and just sprayed the brain matter.
No, what happened was they were like, "You can't do this," and then they got fired.
I've got some serious questions here about how this...
we don't like naysayers on this project. You're out of here.
Security!
That's my job. My job's to naysay.
My last name's Naysay. Like, who's running this thing? George Lucas? Oh, my God.
Well, that's a question. Is the second Star Trek worse than the best prequel? Which would be the third one, I assume, would be the best prequel. I think it is.
And I'm gonna go
story-wise. I'm saying story-wise, I think it is.
And I'm gonna preface this by saying I've never seen Clone Wars, or I've never seen Attack of the Clones, whichever one.
No, the second one's Attack of the Clones. The Revenge of the Sith is the last one.
Never seen Attack of the Clones.
The middle one?
Yep.
Oh, that's fine.
But
you're not missing much.
But I'm gonna preface what I just said with something else later. I saw Phantom Menace years ago in the theater.
Yeah,
I didn't watch Attack of the Clones because I was like, okay, you're dead to me. I watched Phantom Menace. Revenge of the Sith,
the third one,
in the theater because someone said, "I will buy your ticket. I will drive.
Oh, wow.
Go with me."
I never saw it in the theater.
And it was our friend that has zero taste in anything. And you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to call him out right here.
We're not naming names.
We're not naming names, but so DW gives me he told me to go because he wanted to go, and I was just like, okay, that was kind of palatable.
It was, at least there was a story there.
There's a bit of a story. It was poorly directed. The cinematography was bad.
Acting wasn't great.
The acting was probably a 2 out of 10. And it was like a giant video game. It wasn't a Star Wars movie, but as a movie, I suppose it was all right. Still worse than the second Star Trek, as far as I'm concerned.
You think the second Star Trek was better?
Yes.
It's a tough choice, man. I think this writing I think the story in Revenge of the Sith is better than the story. And obviously, everything else is better. The production quality, the directing, the acting is all better in Star Trek. But I think the story is better. Amazingly, I think George Lucas wrote a better story than the other one. Because there was a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
There was like may not made sense of why he did things, but at least it was too quick. That's the problem with it. That Anakin switched to evil so fast.
Yes. Again, it was lazy writing, and there was an end already determined, and it was just
they had to get to that end.
How did we fail to do it properly? The first two, we now have to make up time, and
the second movie should have been Anakin became more and more evil. The very end of the second movie should have been Anakin becoming evil. Third movie is just what's his name? Obi-Wan trying to deal with him.
Yeah. The whole movie
ending with the fight on that lava planet.
If you had to stick with any of the stuff that was in the movies,
I think they should. That they did the right thing with sticking with the continuity there. But
and now the preface to my preface is that I have not watched the the Clone Wars. No, the
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. And I
Nothing really happened in Attack of the Clones.
only saw Phantom Menace once.
I saw it twice that opening day, and it was I think I fell asleep the second time.
And the last one I watched once in the theater, but I do watch the Phantom.
I haven't seen the Phantom Edit. Is that what you're talking about?
The Phantom Edit, and literally I watched it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I keep meaning to, but then I'm like, why would I put myself through 2 hours of this, even if it is edited well?
And the problem is, on YouTube, the one I used to watch isn't on there anymore.
Yeah, they keep dropping them off.
The one I found 2 weeks ago, it's a version of the Phantom Edit, because it's not the one that was originally done by, who was it? Like Topher Grace did it, or no, it was Elijah Wood.
No, I think it was Topher Grace. I think you're right.
Okay, so someone did it.
It was Topher Grace.
And people still are tweaking with it and playing with it. And the one I saw, the color correction was not very good. Mm-hmm. And there were a couple audio issues that I was like, oh. But
just threw it off from being a good version.
It wasn't the best version. It's not one that I would show you because...
Yeah.
He edited some the stuff that made one of the first ones I watched so good, where Count Dooku wasn't a bad guy.
Yeah, that was when I heard that I was like, wow, that sounds great. That he was just once again, it's another point of view. He's just had a different point of view.
And you watch that and you go, oh, okay. And it was
because he had nothing to do with the Emperor, right? In that edit, or he was kind of working from the inside, kind of. Or he wanted to become the villain or the bad.
It makes it that there's strange bedfellows, but
he wasn't a Sith, right? Like that's
he wasn't like just this old dude that that okay, getting pointed in a direction and he's doing the bidding of, or oh no, it's much better. So
because that was always that's why I always hated about those prequels was Dooku's character made no sense.
It was just okay, go old man, go.
And he was just like, why would he do it? Like it makes no sense. He's getting nothing out of it. He's just being a puppet for no reason. The whole I could see if he had a reason where he thought that he was going to kill the Emperor.
You mean adding some character development?
Yeah, there was
in
no
the prequels?
Character development in him. Yeah.
There's no character development in any goddamn person in that entire 3 movies.
And especially when he gets killed in the third one, he gets killed right in front of the Emperor. You think his last words were, "He's a Sith."
Yeah. No, he doesn't. And, yeah.
He got betrayed, and he didn't. It's not like Sith are loyal. It's not like they're.
And he could have said, "Spare my life. Give me one sentence, or let me explain." And what's the Emperor going to do? Go, like
or
shock
shoot
him? Yeah. Whoops! I accidentally shot him, or something like that. Like
you don't have to hear what he has to say. Give him at least let him attempt to tell them.
Yeah, and then let the Emperor either show that the Emperor is exerting control over Anakin. Yeah. Make him do like a little subtle hand movement, and Anakin.
And then all of a sudden Anakin kills him, and then Obi-Wan's like, "What the fuck? Why'd you kill him?
We don't need to listen to this bullshit."
Yeah.
Sunk.
And that's the thing. When Anakin kills Dooku right in front of him, Obi-Wan didn't even like, "Anakin, what are you doing?"
You rapscallion.
He was just like, "Okay, you killed him. That's great. Yeah, good beheading, Anakin."
That's nice.
He didn't even be like, "You're not supposed to kill people."
And, the Emperor wasn't like shot. Oh my god!
Yeah, it's just like he was like, "Mwah, good. He deserved to die." And Anakin's like, "Yes, I killed him." And Obi-Wan's like, what you gonna do?"
I'm dealing with a saucy wench over here. This guy, he's out of control. Look at him. He's a wacky sidekick. No, it was.
Yeah. You're changing my mind about the writing in that movie.
No. Not one character is well handled in that movie. In either movie. None of those movies, as far as I'm
or the Star Trek movie. None of them are. The characters, the actors are good. That's the difference in the Star Trek. The actors are really good at what they do.
Simon Pegg was amazing in that role.
Chris Pine's amazing.
That was a well-written Zachary Quinto.
He's great as Spock. Yeah,
he's like the perfect Spock.
Like they're all very good at what the Doctor. Like he is Carl Urban. He's amazing as the Doctor.
Yeah, he's Bones. Like he
harnesses,
is Bones. He harnesses that.
Yeah,
he owns.
Like that's the thing. Like it's great seeing those people play those characters, but it's just the story they hung them on was terrible.
Yeah, and that was they probably came in all high on life. Like the first one was amazing. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's all be part. I I wonder if, unless contractually obligated, some of those people would be like, oh, I got shit to do, people. Like,
to do another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than I think they have a lot of fun doing it. Although I think Zachary Quinto might have said he didn't want to do it again. So.
And who would blame him?
Yeah, but I think the rest of them. I think Chris Pine just enjoys, and obviously Carl Urban was having fun, and
Carl Urban should be working on Dredd 2.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest travesty on earth. There's no sequel to that.
So he should be saying, "Listen, I would rather sit by the phone and wait for them to make Dredd 2 than be in that filthy."
Poor guy has to live.
Well, he had
a failed TV
show. Chris Pine, he should be going, okay, well, I'm going to be the, we've got another novel adaptation that Harrison Ford's too old to
is he Jack Ryan?
Yeah, to play the part anymore, so I'll do that.
I never saw that one.
I didn't either. Could have been good, could have been bad, don't know.
He doesn't strike me as someone who's serious enough to be Jack Ryan.
Maybe that's the angle they're with.
He could have been Star-Lord, actually. In an alternate reality, Chris Pine could have been Star-Lord. If he wasn't already a captain of a spaceship. He's got that crazy attitude.
Yeah, if I could get past that Chris Pratt hit the nail right on the head and did a perfect job.
I'm not saying he could have been better one. I could say he could have been one.
It's hard for me to get past that mentally.
Anyone who isn't Chris Pratt playing.
Yeah, and that's my own failing. That would be my...
Well, he was great, yeah. But anyways, yeah. Zoe Saldana, she's got enough on her plate. She's doing Avatar sequel. She's been in, now she's in Guardians of the Galaxy. She has no reason to ever go back to Star Trek.
No, so I'd be surprised if some of them will, but wouldn't be surprised if a couple of them were like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah.
Done. You fooled me once.
They'll have to write out those two characters. They went off to live happily ever after.
That's in the narrative of that story. It would be funny if where are Spock and Uhura? Oh, they hooked up and they're gone.
Well, they already hooked up already.
Yeah, because it works in the narrative. Just coincidentally, though.
Yeah. It's the two characters, the two actors who probably wouldn't come back could be gone easy enough.
Spock, he's the last of the Vulcans, and he took it a little hard because at one point he was on the back of a floating train fist fighting someone. Like, that's not something Spock would ever do normally.
Obviously he was dealing with some grief issues.
So he went to an asylum on Vulcan 2. And,
Vulcan 2, Electric Boogaloo.
And that's when Uhura said, I can't live without him, I'm going to go. Yeah. And the two of them are, there's...
They're rebuilding the Vulcan society.
He went crazy. So like,
she's just there as just to keep him.
Yeah, they're in a cabin off the side of Vulcan 2 on the side of a little a magma flow, and
she's dealing with his.
He's convalescing.
Yeah, he keeps building wooden grav vehicles and fighting things like bears on them.
That's right. He's he eventually just you're making such progress. Then he just goes out in the wilderness and fights a wild animal. Like,
he punches a beaver to death.
we had made such progress, and the Vulcan doctor is just looking puts his glasses down slightly, looks at his notepad, and starts checking stuff off. Like, not ready yet.
Yeah, increasing dosage of drugs.
Yep. And also, how do I get beaver blood out of my lab coat?
Punches a beaver to death.
Because that would be a reasonable explanation why those characters aren't there.
Yeah.
In an alternate reality reboot where you've already changed the actors, you can't just change the actors. Now you're starting to get too far away.
Do another split and do the different actors again.
you can't just go like, hey, here's us. We could go and that convoluted plot with the crazy admiral who was right but he wasn't.
Yeah, well, they made him too insane.
He was right.
Yeah, he was right, but they made him insane, so he automatically was wrong.
A thinking movie could have made it so you go, oh my god, I'm seeing it from his point of view. He's not wrong. He's going about it wrong. You'd have to change some of the stuff because he was so insane. But
you do. You have to say he's going about it wrong. It's just like, well, that's just a different idea of how it should be done.
And the two sides come together. You see well, he's not doing what the Star Trek crew want, so he's got to be just a lunatic because they're the only right people in the universe. Okay, well, if that's how you have to write it, if you can't...
Didn't he snap... No, it was Khan who snapped over his arm, wasn't it?
No, it was... he beat up his own daughter who said, Dad...
That's what it was, yeah.
Dad, can we talk about this for a second in a discussion in which our points of view... Monkey slap!
Monkey slap.
It was... No, I guess not. We can't write dialogue.
Well, he probably just slapped her because she got naked for no reason.
And you know what? That scene, it was gratuitous. And I don't like gratuitous use of actors, people of
They
color,
could have fixed it.
of gender, or of sex, because that's lazy. Lazy, lazy, lazy. For some reason, that scene worked for me. Not because she's super sexy and super hot, and she's a good-looking woman and stuff like that. That scene, when I saw it, was like...
But the problem was Kirk didn't play Kirk very well in it. He should have been like, yeah, I'll look away, and he didn't. The next thing they're getting it on, that'd be Kirk.
And it worked for me in the way that, I guess, the best way it could have, considering they felt that they had to show it. I don't know, but that didn't bother me. There was a lot of outrage about it. I heard people were complaining
I
about
thought
it.
it was so great. When I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is so gratuitous.
The people that I knew that were Star Trek fans were like, that's not... They never did that before.
Well, they had sexy women in Star Trek, believe me, but
Yeah, but
they wouldn't like purposely like pan up or like it was the way it was filmed was the issue.
that's the thing. Before it would be like, oh, here's an alien, and you're like, oh, well, she's provocatively dressed. Well, that's their culture.
Yeah, but whatever.
Oh, a discussion about their freedom of sexuality. Oh, they're wearing togas,
But
and they're on a
the way they
utopian-
filmed it was like they panned up or leered up her body. It was just like, ugh.
And that's where they said it. It wasn't there's an alternative to what we're accustomed to, or here's a viewpoint that we don't. That was like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm just a lecherous looker. No, slow down. Look at those legs on her. Oh
Yeah.
my God, she's in her gray
You know what
underwear.
geeks like? They like hot women they can never have. Let's just keep showing it.
Oh yeah, well, I'm socially awkward basement dweller, so I can't ever see a woman in real life. So I'm just gonna slow it down. Is that where the vagina is? I don't really know. It's somewhere.
I've never seen one in real life.
Somewhere between the belly button and the upper thigh. I know, but I don't know because I'm a Star Trek fan. I don't. Okay, yeah, there's a boobies.
There's the boobies. I'm done. I'm spent.
How long was this scene? Oh, it's 45 minutes. We leered over this poor woman.
Yeah.
But okay, I
But they could have.
digress.
If they had shown like Kirk, if it was Kirk's point of view kind of thing, where he was like, he was like, oh, I don't want to see this,
And
that was not his character.
all they had to do was give him a little peek through the things, and I not break the fourth wall because that's outside of Star Trek.
Wink. Yeah.
Like I don't want him to look at the camera and go, see that? I couldn't help myself because I'm a...
But give that sly grin that Shatner would have given.
Yeah, like just for a moment, just like a small thing, like I just got away with something because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna get me a piece of that.
Yeah, so not too far future, I'm gonna be tapping that ass.
In an alternate reality, I would have had a child with her, and somehow the same events that are happening now happened 20 years later in that.
With different people and different, because that's how lazy the writing was. But it didn't bother me, that scene, so much as other people, and I don't know why. Because it was gratuitous, I'll admit that. But it was.
The moment I saw it, I was like, oh my god. It was so obviously gratuitous. That was the problem.
And it didn't, Now, the new Star Wars, same writer. No. Same director.
Yes. No. He's
a
producing
producer.
It.
Okay. So, same producer. I'm hoping that it's handled far better than...
From the trailer, it looks like it's going to be...
That little tidbit.
But everything that's in that, it's all like the way that her vehicle looks and the way that her hat looks, it's all like based on old concept sketches by like McQuarrie and like all these famous concept sketches from the original Star Wars back in the day. So it looks like they're really delving deep into it. Like they're not just like making it flashy.
And they brought the director is
Is it the guy who directed? Is it that
Empire?
this one? I think that might be. Is that this one or the next one?
See, I don't know enough.
I
don't know enough. That's why I'm asking these questions. I'm sure people who are listening right now are going, "You idiot!
Yeah.
How dare you speak of things you don't know about?" Well,
that's filler.
it was a minute and a half trailer for a movie that's coming out in a couple years. Like that's why I haven't researched it.
It's the end of this year.
I don't care enough to research a minute and a half trailer and about a movie that's coming out in the future.
Also, J.J. Abrams is directing this one.
Ah, okay.
So it is the same director. I think it's the next one that Kirshen, or his name is, directing. He's the one who directed Empire.
Okay, I'm holding out hope.
Oh, I think it's really great.
I
have no doubt that that Abrams is a big enough fan, and nobody wants to screw this up because all of them have heard the Phantom Menace
debacle,
and the Red Letter Media. I'm sure all these people have watched that.
And yes,
taking it to heart and being like, oh yeah, this is...
Nail on the head.
And Lucas has none of his taint anywhere near this.
That's good.
And by taint, I do mean the area between his asshole and his balls.
Yes, that stinky, sweaty It has a nice beard though. It has a little.
Well, yeah, it's well groomed. Well-groomed beard.
Yeah, they had to get rid of him.
He was too into his own
up
shit.
His own ass,
Yeah.
and made sure he isolated himself from anything that was quality.
And he isolated himself from anybody being able to say, no, this isn't right, George. They were all just yes men who had to obey his every whim.
So as you know, my girlfriend and I have come to consensus of which movies we're going to be watching in the next little bit.
Yep, and you're going to take me to them.
Yes. I've gone with Avengers.
Yep.
And Ant-Man.
Obviously. Yep.
Obs.
The Obs.
Her
Ant-Man is even not that high on my list. But...
Her concessions... for making those concessions, because she was like, Ant-Man, what's that? And I was like, you don't even. And she was like, but I don't want to. And I said, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She goes, well, yeah, but go to it.
You're like Guardians of the Galaxy.
And then she said, okay, well, I will... She then said, okay, I will see your Ant-Man and raise you Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic World. Yep.
Now, I don't
That'd
like...
be fun.
I never watched... I saw the original one once.
I've seen them all. And
it was all
the original one's only really the one worth watching.
As a child, sure, I liked dinosaurs a little bit, but I wasn't even into dinosaurs as much as I know some little girls are. Like, you know how little girls can...
Sexist.
Like little girls are allowed to like dinosaurs, and I knew little girls that liked dinosaurs more than me.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, well, they're not my thing.
Yeah, I'm not big on dinosaurs.
It's not my bag. Janet loves dinosaurs, and she also has seen the other movies, so she was like, okay.
I want to see Jurassic World just because it's going to be a good spectacle, and it's got Chris Pratt.
And the other one,
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Now
that's an obs. You have to watch that one.
Now, do I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes. You have to, because at least you can. If it's a total shitstorm, at least you can say, "I was there, and it ruined me. I'll never see."
Yeah, so you just want me to get in a time machine and go back to 1992 or whenever it was that
it was
the
99, I believe.
Because or
98.
The thing is,
99.
Some traumas that happen in your life, you don't have to revisit. I've learned. I've sat.
No, but this is not trauma. You know what this is? This is catharsis. You go in there and you go, "Oh, this is how it should have been."
Are you saying? Okay, let me just track with you. Are you saying this is you gotta get back on the horse and face your fears?
And no, it's also going to be like, it is going to be good. So you'll be like, it'll erase all that trauma. It's going to be this is healing. This is healing.
Okay, no,
if it's bad, it's just going to open old wounds, and you'll have to go back to therapy. But
I'm willing to go with your. What I thought you were originally saying was once more into the breach. Like, okay, it's
don't let it beat you.
Yeah, you gotta just man up and go and watch yet another abortion.
If you don't go and watch it, you're letting George Lucas win.
The terrorists have won.
Actually, you are, because since Lucas has nothing, you have to support this even if it's not good, because Lucas has nothing to do with it.
Financially, I have to speak with my cash.
Yeah,
okay.
Just say, we're glad Lucas isn't here. The movie wasn't great, but we're glad Lucas isn't here.
I can go with that rather than what your other opinion was that it's going to be good and it's going to wash away. And
it could be both. It could be both.
It might be, but I don't think the effect will be as...
It matters how good it is, right? If it's amazing, better than Return of the Jedi, which isn't hard, if it's like that...
If I'm walking an SS officer to the Nuremberg trials and he pulls a coin out from behind my ear and I'm like, yeah, you're an amazing magician. That's your sleight of hand tricks. You could have entertained children and you could have a TV show, a German-speaking TV show.
I'm really excited to see where this is going.
But you're still a fucking Nazi. You're going to the trial and probably you're going to be hung. Magic or not, entertainment or not. There's still going to be this black spot that has to be recognized as a black spot, no matter how many highways.
But my question is, should his son still have that black spot?
No.
Right? He's not. J.J. Abrams didn't touch you. Lucas did.
J.J. Abrams did touch me.
Well, me for other things, Lost and things, but
yes. So
he touched you in different areas.
That's right. That's right. Whereas George Lucas was
he was the original toucher.
He was just delicately fondling my balls. J.J. Abrams was just rubbing around my backside, and both of them promised candy, and I got none.
But J.J. Abrams might give you candy now.
I might get back in the van that stopped in front of the schoolyard.
Yeah. See, Abrams I never watched Lost, so I don't have that bad feeling. I liked Super 8, which you didn't like.
Did not care for.
And yeah, so
couldn't sit through. I've tried multiple times to sit through Super 8.
I love the movie. It was really nice.
And you know what? the problem is you sit down and you get this. Oh my God, Spielberg! Someone's harnessing the Spielberg. That
is, yeah.
Before George Lucas's bearded taint touched him. Before he was like, you should make them aliens. You should have them get into a fridge and stop the nuclear explosion by, because all those were were George Lucas's ideas. Before Spielberg fell in with that bad crowd, he had a magic of showing kids and scenes. And
it had like a nostalgia to it.
Whole scenes, even the directing had Spielberg's way of storytelling through a shot with like something in the background and a foreground, but not like a dense way of doing it, but and it had that, and I just don't know why. Sometimes I'm just like, it's missing something that isn't just the directing and the feel and the cinematography.
I felt the nostalgia. I felt everything for it, and I thought you did well.
So you're tracking with me.
But it worked for me, and it didn't work for you. That's all.
There's that little nugget that Spielberg had.
For you, it was the uncanny valley of it was so close to being Spielberg, but it wasn't Spielberg. Whereas I was just like, yeah, this is good.
And I was waiting for the hook for me, and there was no hook for me. Something got to you, and even like the train wreckage scenes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this should be like.
Yeah, see,
it's turning a Spielberg kid. It's turning Goonies on its head at this point. Like, what's and I still couldn't. It couldn't.
Yeah, see, I liked it a lot.
Now. You don't necessarily need to show me the monster. I don't even know how Super 8 ends. I've never heard what happens after, because the kids have to go on their wacky adventure and at some point if a toxic goo monster starts ravaging a town, I'll never know. If
it's kind of
if E.T. shows up and they're like, hey, what's this? It looks like a shaved koala bear. No, I'm an alien from another planet to help me get my craft. I have no idea.
Yeah, no idea. Watch it because it's good. I might remember the ending.
Okay, well, I'm not watching it any more than you're going to watch Gotham.
There you go. Well, we'll have to see how that works out. And that was filler.
That was filler. That was a lot of filler.
So there you go. I'll never watch Gotham. Jack will never watch Super 8. And we learned nothing. We're sorry. See you next time.
You know what's better than all those movies like The Avengers or Iron Man or Man of Steel or Dark Knight Rises? You know what's better than all that?
The porn parodies that were released shortly after them.
And Vinland Old Time Radio. You know why?
Because today's youth want old-timey radio productions, variety shows via a podcast format.
Because the budget of the imagination is unlimited.
That. I'm going to trademark that. Trademark. Is that how trademarks work? You just blurt it out?
I think so.
Okay.
VinlandOldTimeRadio.podbean.com. Come for the funny. Stay for the alcohol.
And the budget of the imagination.